So now we're going to do something kind of fun. We're going to, did anyone get a chance to look at that image in the Slow Journalism blog? So let's look at that image together. Can we put the Slow Journalism blog in the sidebar here? So I always heart every article I go to. So the image, but here's the image. We still have to go to Imgur after all that. So this image is great at, can people see this image? So this image is great for kind of understanding where you're coming from. If you're reading this crap over here, InfoWars over here, you're getting bias. Bias is okay if it's labeled as bias, and if bias is like a little bit of salt or seasoning on the edge of facts. So basically, I would stay away from liberal, utter garbage, conspiracy theories, hyper-partisan liberal, and I would focus on skews liberal, mainstream, skews conservative. I would get rid of hyper-partisan conservative or conservative, utter garbage conspiracy theories. So if you are reading The Economist and you know it's a moderate conservative journal, great. If you're reading The Atlantic and you know it's moderate conservative, great. But mainly, I like to be right here. Some of them are kind of entertainment-y and a little bit light, like CNN, USA Today. There's some good stuff in them, but generally, let's go with straight journalism. Reuters, AP, ABC, NBC, CBS, BBC, PBS, NPR, Washington Post, New York Times, a lot of the great local papers, Wall Street Journal, Economist, Guardian, can have some great stuff. So let me come back here. So did that make sense, folks? Just that little overview? And then we're gonna go to some websites and we're actually going to identify, there's signs that this is good truth, and there's signs that this is BS, fake news, crap. That work for everyone? When people say, oh, the New York Times is just liberal bias, whatever, I say, number one, that shows how conservative you are or how liberal you are. People on both ends will accuse the New York Times of whatever. And number two, you probably don't read it, so you don't actually know. You just know it by reputation. Okay, so now let's go to a couple websites and try to give you the tools. Sorry, I just unplugged. Give you the tools to identify fake news and good journalism anywhere you go. Does that sound good? Why does this matter again? Let's bring this back to why this is fun and not just a nerdy occupation. If you have these basic tools, it's kind of like doing home ec or shop in school. You can go through life knowing what's true and what isn't. You can have conversations with respect with people you disagree with. You can be informed, and you know, you wouldn't say that it doesn't matter if you have a clean windshield or not if you're driving a truck or driving a car, right? Having a clear windshield, knowing what you're seeing, allows you to not crash. That's exactly what we're going to practice right now. Does that sound worthwhile? Or do we want to skip that and we can do something else if that sounds boring? I want to get a little feedback here because I care about this, but that's not enough. I don't want to spoon feed you stuff you don't want to. All right, so we'll start with something easy, which is the New York Times. Then we'll go to CNN, which I'm more critical of. Then we'll go to Fox. And then that might be enough for you guys to understand kind of. So CNN, you might say, well, they're kind of liberal and they're kind of in the middle, and so they're probably all right. But there's a lot that CNN does that's total crap. Fox you might think is awful, and you would be right. New York Times you might think would be great, or maybe great liberal, and you'd be right. Maybe we'll look at The Economist too. That would be a good find, or Wall Street Journal. Find something respectable that's biased. Okay. Screen share. All right, 6 people are inspired. The others are gone or asleep. All right, we're going in. Everyone good? Let's get a little more enthusiasm. It's a very quiet group. Take any caffeine that's in your system and say, "Hi." Woo counts. Woo is valid. All right. New York Times. So, what is this? What was that at the top there? That was an ad. Yeah, David, we'll get into that for sure. So that may seem obvious, but it's good to be able to identify ads. All right, now we're at the New York Times. You can see they have some podcast stuff, some this and that, some this and that, some news, some weather, blah, blah, blah. Here's some graphic map. They do an amazing job with graphics using, using the online medium in a creative way. And what are you getting here? Are you getting opinion, or are you getting facts, or are you getting a sort of biased version of the facts? You may not know if you don't read the New York Times that much what you're getting here, but any thoughts on that? Yeah, exactly, Alexis. So you'll notice when you go to the homepage that opinion is very transparent. If you go to a site or a newspaper and opinion isn't clearly labeled as opinion, you got a problem. So the fact that this is a personal story, my life under Mississippi's racist flag, is under the opinion and it's sectioned off. I actually wouldn't mind if they did even more, if they made all of this gray, a light gray. But this is the opinion section. Here's a conservative, here's probably a liberal, here's some guest opinions. That's fine because it's all clear. So is the New York Times liberal? Perhaps overall in terms of their opinion column, but they will host conservative. Over here, this is journalism. This is reporting. Journalism, reporting, journalism, reporting, journalism, reporting, journalism, reporting, journalism, reporting, journalism, reporting, journalism, reporting. This is a little bit unclear to me. This sounds more like a profile from the magazine. This also might be a profile in the magazine. Profiles are kind of more entertainment-y, even if they have great facts in them. In other news, clearly labeled. So this is all journalism reporting. Then we have a paid post, very transparently labeled. That's very important. A lot of people, including Elephant, have paid posts. They need to be labeled clearly. Smarter Living, very clearly labeled. So is this news or reporting? Kind of. It's sort of helpful stuff for life. Features, very clearly labeled. What does that mean? That's probably a little bit more on the entertainment or the story side. They're telling a story. So there could be some bias in it. Science and technology, this should probably be straight journalism reporting. This could be a mix of both. So because it's a mix, they have to, the most popular, it's going to be whatever people are reading the most, is very clearly labeled opinion. That's a conservative. News, very clearly labeled. Within this whole section of news, there are going to be stories, there are going to be reports. Here's the opinion section. So Let's see. Stop sharing. Yeah, a lot of opinion is full of facts, but it's still making conclusions and having an opinion about it. Nothing's wrong with opinion. Opinion helps us have a dialogue and think intelligently about various facts. Opinion is great, but it has to be labeled. So in reviewing that, in reviewing the New York Times, what did I look for